Okay, I will not make the same mistake I made yesterday, which is leaving it on the webcam. So nobody called me out on it. Not that there are that many people on the stream. I think at one point I had five or something, but nobody said, "Oh, uh, you're not showing us what you're doing." It's okay though, because um, I ran into some bugs yesterday in the layout tool thing that I'm gonna go ahead and squash today. They're just little things. They're not really important. But so another 5 minutes, you'll get to see my ugly mug for another 5 minutes while I. Oh, you know what I should do? I should go ahead and I haven't ran GitHub Desktop for a while, so maybe um layout tool domain. Okay. So um yesterday in the uh finished 209 changed files, really? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Finished. Right. School story. Okay, commit. Origin. Oh, did I not push origin on the other one? Hold on a sec. Uh, there we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Back over here. And I can actually leave that closed. So, yeah. So yesterday, I was seeing a bunch of different nodes like pop up, and I forgot that when you add stuff or when you save or whatever, uh, it calls load all rooms several times. So it kind of destroys it and then rebuilds it. So I got to kind of do that with the lines too. So I have to. I'll make sure that if it exists to literally destroy it and then to rebuild it whenever it's called. I put that in the load all rooms. I put the line initialization in that. So that was a big deal. The other big deal was yesterday. Basically, um, what was it? Oh yeah, it was at the the main layout tool program, the old editor map script. Anyways, the main script. It um, it would access the children of the actual scene because okay, so the editor map. We're still dealing in the editor, the redot editor, even with the layout tool version. Um, Eventually, I'm gonna get all the functionality into the actual scene, um, actual working scene. But until then, I still have to rely on the editor, the stuff in the editor. So, I'll be working on the layout tools still, but once I get this done, the lines done and everything, then I'm gonna copy over, of course, the all the rooms over, and I'll be working from the single code base then. But so what was happening is there's many times where I access the children of the rooms node. The rooms node had uh, all the room nodes, and um, and the child nodes, and basically I would add. I added the line overlay to uh, to the rooms node, and so it was trying to access the children. Well, it's not a layout tool, so it kept having an error because it was modifying the name and stuff. And so I had to figure that out, and it was ChatGPT, I believe, that was telling me that was suggesting what I ultimately did was I made a function that that accesses the children, only the layout room children. And actually, what I did is I created a separate array for the children, for the actual, actual scene children, and then of only layout rooms, so that way I could still add the the line overlay as a child. I don't know if that's still the best way, because the layout tool maybe uh, it might should be under the layout tool, the node, the base node, right? The base scene node. But since node doesn't have any like coordinates or anything, it's just a node. Uh, it was potentially drawing off screen, or it was not drawing correctly. And so what I would need to do then is I would need to um, get the rooms node position and then move the line overlay to that. I still might do that though. I mean, it still might be a good idea to do that. Um, it does make the function to get all the layout rooms a little bit superfluous. Like I don't need to do that. It's a little extra processing, but it might not hurt anything, so I might just leave it in there even if I do what I said. So I'm thinking conceptually because basically the line overlay is not a room, or it's not a set of rooms. It's a drawing node, and so to have it externally to be a child of the main scene node, but not of the rooms node is kind of logical. So, but I have to remember that um, there's kind of an interesting thing. I could create a separate node, another 2D base node, and so I put the node 2D, and then I put rooms underneath that. I could try that. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it or not, if I need to do that, or if I just do it the way I'm doing it. But it doesn't seem logical that the line overlay should be in the rooms under the rooms node. It shouldn't be. So maybe I'll discuss that with ChatGPT later. Anyways, I'm now going over my time here, so let's go ahead and switch to a desktop here. There we go. And okay, so basically what we're doing today is, or at least first part, story stuff, right? It's the game part. So let's go to let's open Redot. Let's open Enchanted Lands Phase 1, the main one. And hopefully today, though, in part 2, hopefully I'll be getting to the save it. Hopefully I'll be getting to what was I gonna say? Hopefully today I'll be completely finished with this line thing, and I'll be able to start on the I'll start on everything proper. It means what I'll do is I'll bring all the meta files and the JSON files. I'll bring them over. I'll copy them into the layout tool thing. I think I'm doing my notes from there too. But and then um anyways, I should get that. I should be able to fold it in today, maybe. Well, I don't know. For me, 2 hours. For somebody else, 2 hours might be a lot of time. For me, it's probably just barely making it, but whatever. Okay, so today what we are doing is okay. So I added this yesterday. I actually added this 13th night school and honestly, I should go through and like break all these up by different locations. I mean, I in general I kind of do it, but what it'll be is when I finally add graphics, they're going to be actual separate locations. When I actually make this into a full-on text adventure, um, they will also be separate locations. So literally something that happens, for instance, the enrollment tent, it'd be enrollment tent 1 and 2. So maybe I should start looking into renaming a few of these right now. Um, not okay, not the second though, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'll do that because I really want to get busy on the story here. I've got a whole bunch more pages to go through, and I haven't been able to do that. The Night School 13. See, and honestly, I might should have a couple more pages because this is a lot of text for one page. Um, for essentially, yeah, for a page, and it's not even in its narrative form yet. Yes, about whether the weapons in the induction process are real. Yeah, he actually infers that um, because they were fighting, essentially fighting to the death, and now that isn't entirely true because he didn't have to kill somebody, but it was still the idea it was still dangerous, and damn, it looks really dangerous, and so he's going to ask about it. Channel Guard must be ready at all times. There's not many tourists. They decided to use night school as it was originally intended. He also tells John there's something big going on in the castle, and that's something to do with the closures. Probably mentions a good thing the night school reverted to his original mandate, since now all the friendly dragons are terrorizing small villages. Um, Meanwhile, Hebert is devising a way into Wizard U. Hit 1 to continue. Okay. So now, we're going to go into Wizard U Hall. Okay. And let's open that up and let's see what this one says. Hubert sneaks into Wizard U and examines the Hall of Fame paintings and notices one is missing. After realizing what's missing, he leaves the school. Okay, so I don't really actually... I thought I had a page, though, that actually talked about how he snuck into Wizard U. Because it just says he sneaks into it. And then, okay. There isn't a lot even to do here. Well, I mean, I guess I could, decide something. Night school pool. The unicorn walks up to the statue, recognizes his face. He saw other leaves night school. Okay. So essentially, this is a clue. Chester. That's right. Chester flies to Master's cave. Unicorn walks with the door. All right. So at least. All right. So I'm gonna try to get through this as quick as possible. Um, I need to pull up my notes. We're gonna pull up the notes, and I might just have to create this out of whole cloth. So basically, start. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do a search for Wizard U. This is kind of the boring stuff. I mean, I did have this in here so I could, maybe I should have put it into like a bunch of different documents so I know exactly what what. But maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do an organization thing. I suppose it can be on screen or off screen. On the stream or off stream. If I do it on stream, yeah, does that take away time? So I want to show you, what I was doing, how I was doing, what I was doing, and all that stuff. Anyways, and then there's of course there's overlapping. There's a lot of overlapping info. Graduated Wizard U with a major in world domination and minor in the black arts. After promising start, the over Enchanted Lands was cut short as he was finally caught and banished. Presented B Wizard. Okay. Wizard U, Wizard University. U, Wizard U. Okay. So that's why I changed my last name. Actually, it was gonna be. Let's see. Yeah, Harold Halfway, right? It's gonna be Harold Halfway. And I changed it to Hubert just because I didn't want to use the name Harold, but I might use the name Harold anyways. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still kind of in my head, kind of like I want to go back to it. Maybe Harold Halfway. Uh, anyways, what's it you? Hubert finds a way into Wizard U's library to get to the plans demonstration castle. So some of these are earlier versions. They're slightly different than what I ultimately came up with. Hubert thinks he's Hubert thinks he's been enchanted in some way, so they decide to sneak into Wizard U into the library to find out what it could be. Hmm. Okay. Wizard U again. Hubert heads to Wizard U, which seems deserted. The doors are locked and the windows are shuttered. Looking around, he notices a small hole in one of the walls. First, he doesn't think much of it, then notices something in the entrance to the hole. It happens to be a mouse. Not just any mouse, a mouse wizard. The reason Hubert recognizes the mouse as a wizard is because of the tiny wizard robe and pointy hat the mouse is wearing. I don't know. When I did it, I was just like, okay, I got to come up with something, some way, something he's got to do to get in, and then later on, I was like, this mouse wizard thing is kind of dumb. I've actually seen like some artwork, mostly AI, but where they actually did that, a, a mouse dressed as a wizard or something, or a cat or whatever. I'm actually a tourist. I was getting good with my magic wand until I lost it. I have a problem that you may be able to solve. Could you help me if I found your wand? Yes, indeed. With that, Hubert combed the grounds for the wand, and at last ended up back near the mouse's hole with empty hands. I've searched every bit of the grounds and found nothing of a wand. Where did you last see it? Well, I was trying to cast a spell to levitate a piece of cheese from the icebox. I was thumbing through the wizard's basic training manual trying to find the words to levitate. And then let me see, I needed both paws to turn the pages, and then, just then, Hubert noticed a little tiny wand in the mouse's little tiny ear and pulled it out. And put it behind your ear. Then handed it back. Oh, thank you, Sir Wizard. Now, what is it that you want? I need to get into the school here and find out why they closed it. Okay. Let me look here and I'll find the spell. So with that, he went back into the hole, and a few minutes later he said, this should do it, and then pointed the wand at him and said a few words, and then Hubert shrank to the wizard mouse's size. Calling it a wizard mouse or a mouse wizard is dumb, I think. I mean, it sounds dumb, is what I'm saying. To me, it sounds dumb. Um, but I might still use this. I mean, I wrote it, I spent the time to do that. Maybe I could write it a little bit differently. Maybe I can, finesse it a little bit. Because he finally sneaks into Wizard U, and then the actual part of the story beat here is that he walks to the Hall of Fame. So basically, the Hall of Fame is at the entrance. um, after the foyer. In other words, you go into you open the when you go through the door, you come into I guess what they call that, an antechamber or whatever. Let's look at here. Let me look at the definition of antechamber because I don't want it some weird. A chamber apartment before the chief apartment and leading into it, which persons wait for an audience. And outer chambers. See lobby. Oh, that's exactly what it is. So you could also call it a foyer though, because it'd be a use a word antechamber in a sentence. Maybe I should ask Grok or ChatGPT or something. Why? Oh, weird. Okay. Then let's just use the AI. Right. Oh. Can you use it in a sentence? Here's a sentence. After checking in with the receptionist, we waited in the antechamber before being called into the conference room for the meeting. Um, uh, Generally speaking, you wouldn't use it in a modern sentence like that. You'd use either lobby or foyer. I could call it foyer if I want to, because it's a French word and I'm not French, so I could call it foyer instead of foyer. Um, but the entrance of the building commonly found in hotels, office buildings, and theaters. Waiting lobby, hotel lobbies, grand. Okay. Foyer is generally smaller and more intimate, functioning as an entryway or transitional space between the exterior and interior of a building. It's often found in residential homes or upscale venues and conveys a more formal or welcoming atmosphere. Example includes guests were greeted in the foyer before seated for dinner. She hung her coat in the foyer of the house. An antechamber refers to a smaller room leading to a larger, more significant space. It's a waiting or buffer zone. Anteroom, vestibule. Okay, vestibule is more modern. For instance, the cardinal's pres- president will then pledge to the new pope and will be dressed in the room of chairs, a small antechamber in chapel. That actually makes sense there. See, modern uses may overlap. Lobbies are more common in commercial, foyer and residential or elegant spaces, and antechamber in formal, often ceremonial or secure environments. A vestibule, closely related to an antechamber, is a small room between the exterior door and the interior, designed to reduce heat loss or provide security, required in many commercial buildings. In my game, there's a university where upon entering the front door, you're in a small room chamber, uh, be, which leads to a hallway. to the main hallway that goes further into the school. Any other names I could call this room? Acting as a transitional space before the main hall is a classic architectural feature. There are several accurate and evocative names you could use depending on the tone and style of your game. Vestibule, best for realism, architectural accuracy. Vestibule is small enclosure between the door and interior building, reduce heat loss or provide weather protection. Most technically correct term for a small entry chamber. You step into the stone vestibule, the heavy door closing behind you with a soft thud. Antechamber, best for formal, historic, or slightly mysterious tone. While often associated with palaces or sacred spaces, the antechamber can work well in a grand or old world university setting, especially if the building feels more like a cathedral or castle. It implies a space of transition into something important. For example, the antechamber is dimly lit, its walls lined with faded portraits of long dead scholars. Yeah, well, the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is literally the main hall that you go through. Wait, what? Map of campus carved into oak. Entry hall, entryway. These are neutral descriptive terms. Work well in most game contexts. Entry hall implies a small but intentional space suitable for modest functional building. The entry hall smelled of old books and plywood. Porch has been closed. Um, Interesting. So my game concerns a magic kingdom that's been turned into a tourist resort. While the school has been around since before the resort. Um, well, not while nothing. The school has been around since before it was a resort. What else? It's a fantasy, comedy, cartoon, adventure. Although, right now, I'm writing it more like a choose your own adventure, only in text. To eventually evolve into a fully interactive, fully animated, graphical point and click adventure. Design as a magical antechamber with whimsical theme could be named the Grand Atrium. Okay, that's I don't need names like that. I just need an actual name of the room. But it looks like I can use almost anything. Channing threshold. Oh, I was going to say that although the school has been around for a long time, the time period it's set in is modern. So I'll have so modern and medieval themed um, items. How about just themes? School predating transfer gives you a rich creative entry room. Not better than ever. Even in a modern setting, any chamber fits perfectly if the school is old and ceremonial. The word itself sounds arcane, slightly pompous, ideal for a comedy when juxtaposed with modern absurdity. Uh, you step into the antechamber, once reserved for apprentice wizards awaiting audience with the dean of elemental mishaps. Now a sad potted plant and a welcome to Magic U sign taped to the wall serve as decor. That's actually not bad. I could actually use that. And this is Leo. This is not even like Chat GPT and Grok. I mean, they're like super advanced. This is just it bases on search engine, and of course it is an LLM and stuff. So I'm not even saying it's a bad LLM. I'm just simply saying it's not as extensive as a Chat GPT or Grok. Feels appropriately archaic and magical, juxtaposed beautifully with modern neglect or tourism. Sounds important, even if it's not a glorified coat closet. The wardrobe room, not to Narnia, modern twist. Yeah, that's fine. It's just coming up a bunch of stuff that I didn't ask for really, but that's okay, right? Uh, I, I also wonder. Okay, so I had four people or four, yeah, four viewers in here. Now it's only three, and I wonder, is it just because people have like most people have day jobs, right? I'm in the U.S., so it's Thursday, so people are going to work and stuff. Not many people at home, which is kind of normal. Um, and then if you're over in let's say the UK, which is 5 hours, um, it's almost 5 o'clock. It's almost time for you to go home, but you're also at work, right? And if it's something like India, over East Asia or whatever, you're eight and something hours, depending on your actual time zone. So it's like I'm wondering if it's just because people, do people leave because just their schedule doesn't allow it, which is fine. That's normal stuff. This life stuff. Even if you like what I do, you might sit in for a little while and then you might leave because you have other better things to do, right? Obviously, you have better things to do than just watch me talk about fantasy, arcane words for a fantasy game or something. But it always makes me wonder. See, now it's back up to four, but it always makes me wonder if it's just because of life, which is fine, or if it's because I'm not doing very much or something. Or maybe, sometimes I tend to, well, I'll talk the whole time, but sometimes I'll tend to mumble, especially when I'm kind of focused on something. It's like this. I was reading the thing here, and I guess I must have been kind of mumbling because that's what I was perceiving myself doing. So I was just sitting there kind of going, and maybe that's why people kind of like turn off. They're just like, oh, he's mumbling again, you know, or something. I don't know. It just makes me wonder because you don't truly know really, especially when you're this small. When you're this small, you don't know why people leave or are going and stuff. Analytics is great, but when you don't have enough data to look at the analytics, then it's kind of doesn't make much sense. And don't even say quantity because quantity does not bring in people. They always say, bring in, do a bunch of videos first, right? Do one every day or whatever, or do one, once or twice a week, or you know, you know, let me check something. I wonder if I did, didn't I? Dang it. Hold on a second. Let me check. Let's go to YouTube real quick. I want to see if I don't think I skipped one though, so maybe not. Well, we'll see that supposedly YouTube rolled out its AI age verification thing yesterday. I haven't really seen much other than a couple of people mentioning it and thing about the ID and stuff. Okay, so this is 33, and this was August 9th, and August 9th was last Saturday. That's good. Okay. I guess the reason that I'm wondering about uploading is because tomorrow I should be uploading for Saturday. And lately I have just been forgetting Friday. I always have every intention of doing it, and then somehow I say I'm gonna do it later because early in the day is too early in the day. Um, and then I manage to forget about it, and then come Saturday, and then I'm not even in my room sometimes till noon or something. But yeah, so that means tomorrow I upload 34. I need to catch up too. I got what is it? It's updates 38, 39, and wait, it's 30, 37, 38, 39 that I haven't rendered out yet. And then they're finished though. And then 40 and 41 are not finished. And this uh this last 2 weeks would have been should have been 42, I think. I'm not sure, but I'm like not up to date. I haven't been keeping up with my editing and stuff. It's just I'm if you look at some of these numbers here, it's like my biggest one was 51 here. And that was update 30. I don't even know why. Um, maybe it was the idea about the cascading waterfall trying to get Glock to do it or something, and maybe that's why a lot of people were interested in that. See, most of these are 2 digit, and a lot of them are even under are only 1 digit views here. This is a 26. Uh, there's a 40, 39. I don't really know what causes these to get more views than the other ones. I don't know what it is. I mean, you have to do some sort of research and some sort of like play around with thumbnails or play around with titles or something. Maybe completely change my title or something. I don't know. Um, to see if that actually makes a difference. But I don't have enough. There's not enough analytics data. There's not enough people watching these for me to actually be able to drive any kind of an idea of what is causes some to get more views than others. Anyways, not interested in that. Let's get off this. Let's go back to the deal. Uh, um, okay, so what do we got here? The conduit, like a fire buffer. Okay, that's all right. The glamour check. Yeah. It's just not just coming up with stuff. Um, I'm mostly just looking for a suitable word. May not even show up in the final game. Um, right now, got all my main story beats, and um, I'm building the CYO8 style version right now. Um, and sometimes I don't have enough information to don't have all the information for the scene or story beats. So in this case, one main character, the lizard Hubert or Harold, halfway, has to find a way into lizard University. University. To find out why the resort has basically been shut down. So I'm looking through my notes and also looking at the story beat itself, which only says Hubert sneaks into Wizard U and walks the through the Hall of Fame, which are prestigious or portraits of prestigious wizards throughout the school's history. So I'm all the time imagining a small area just before the main hall, which is in front of the door. So you go in, you open the front door, go into the antechamber, and then through the Hall of Fame, or essentially the main hallway. Story structuring phase, building it text. The details are fluid. You're looking for the right word to label or mentally frame that small transitional space inside. It doesn't need to be on-screen dialogue or even appear in the pop game. You just need useful, evocative, and totally fitting term to help you visualize the scene and write the scene clearly. Once a majestic magical school now half abandoned, possibly or repurposed or neglected in a failed tourist resort, and the fact that Hubert or Harold halfway is sneaking in, here are the best suited terms for a small room before the Hall of Fame main hallway, ranked to fit. Antechamber, yes, use this. Despite modernity, antechamber is perfect for your needs because it's architecturally accurate for a small room between entry and grander space. It sounds ancient and magical, fitting a wizard school, contrasts beautifully with the modern decay or tourist kitsch. He slipped through the rusted front door into the antechamber, once a sacred threshold, now littered with soda cans and broken self-zone sign. It implies secrecy and transition, ideal for a stealthy entrance. Hubert eased the door open and ducked into the antechamber. Dust swirled in the dim light ahead of the Hall of Fame, loomed row upon row of watching eyes in gilded frames. Vestibule, close second, more natural, more neutral, slightly more modern and architectural, but still elegant. Less mystical than antechamber, but very grounded. The vestibule's tiles were cracked and the wet floor sign stood crookedly. No magic here, just neglect. Great if you want realism with a touch of decay. Entryway, simple, flexible, invisible. If you want a neutral placeholder, doesn't draw attention to this works. It's functional, modern, and doesn't clash with the tone. He stepped in the entryway, keeping it to the shadows. The porch began just beyond. If best of the space is just a beat in motion, not a moment of atmosphere. Skip foyer, lobby, nook, or atrium. Foyer, lobby, too large, too grand, or too commercial implies space activity not ideal for sneaking in scene. Nook and atrium, either too cozy or too open, doesn't fit small transitional chamber. Final verdict, use any chamber is the best word for your scene. Even if a modernist setting, it supports the tone. Mysterious, slightly decaying magic, fits the architecture. Alright, I guess I can do it for your notes. Antechamber. Consider them down Destiny and Forgotten Possible Tourist signage. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now, obviously, here, let's go over here. Okay, let me actually go back to this. So, now he sneaks into it. If he goes any way other than the main entrance, he's not necessarily going to get to the hallway, the main hallway. He will get to the main hallway because you can go to it from any place in the, because it goes in and then it starts branching off into rooms like school, like classrooms and whatever. And um, notice one's missing. But if he goes in any other way than the front door, then you won't be using the antechamber anyways, unless you're going to exit. And actually, Sir William, as a unicorn, he does manage to get into Wizard U by, I think he rams the door open, if I remember right. And so he's actually is going to go through the entryway or the antechamber. Okay, so let's go back to here. Uh, trying to let me see. Should do it. I didn't think of that," said Hubert. "And now the only question is whether or not you can restore me to regular size. But of course, I can just reverse the words." That as soon as Hubert was on the other side of the wall, he was restored to his original size. While in Wizard U, Hubert went to the trophy case and noticed it was broken. The trophies, a Quicksilver scepter was missing. See, this is something I added in there. Something that after realizing what's missing is okay. He leaves the school. I might even put this in there. I might put this whole thing in here. I wasn't going to do this whole mouse wizard thing, but maybe I should. Uh, mouse. Uh, Mice have typically been useful for some things. Reapy cheap. And this he was called Deepy cheap. I was trying to make a funny like a pun on the name Reapy cheap. You know. Um. In fact, maybe it could be like a cousin to Reapy cheap from Chronicles of Narnia. And I even there I won't do it directly, saying um, my cousin, my cousin uh, helped me to get here, or whatever. You know. Anyways, I'm not sure if I'll even do all that. It was yeah, okay. So I'll just go ahead and read it to you. I mean, you can see it. You can probably read it yourself, but I'll go ahead and read it to you. Let's see. This okay. But of course I can just reverse the words. But that's as soon as Hebert was on the other side of the wall, he restored. He was restored to his original size. While in Wizard U, Hebert went to the trophy case and noticed it was broken. One of the trophies, a Quicksilver scepter, was missing. Then he went to the Hall of Fame, which is an actual hallway with pictures of previous winners of Wizard of the Year. Uh, he noticed Max's picture was gone, so putting two and two together, he realized that Max had somehow come back in Enchanted. After examining, oh yeah, so this is kind of like a major plot point here. You'll find out that Maximilian's spell is back in the lands, and so that is our infamous um, Maximilians, our mysterious Maximilians, who bought Enchanted Lands. Examine the other portraits, he noticed they seem to have surprised expressions as if they'd been trapped in the paintings. So he figured they closed it because Max had somehow trapped the wizards in their own Hall of Fame paintings. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like a kind of another clue. I'm not sure if I even put that in these pages here though, because it's not the narrative part, and it might be a little too much extra detail. But it's part of the thing. It's the kind of help tell the story. Um, in fact, I shouldn't even say that. It should. They figured they were trapped in their own Hall of Fame paintings. Um, but they maybe they had the surprise expressions like they were trapped somewhere. And of course, that the idea is that they have been trapped in the paintings. Uh, Deepy cheap. That sounds like someone else I know. I have a cousin and not stop right there. We don't want to get in legal trouble. Please turn me back once I'm outside again. With pleasure. And with that, Deepy cheap, the mouse wizard restored him outside. He then travels to Fairy God College. Okay. So maybe I should go ahead and do that. Maybe I should just do the whole thing. Now, um, I could add some pages and stuff. That doesn't add any choices, though. There's no choices in here yet. So I have to figure that out. So let's kind of figure that out. Um, should I go to Grok? Should I go to ChatGPT? Should I use Brave Leo? Um, at least three interesting choices. I know I allow you up to nine, but there's not going to be more than three, especially not in this phase. It would be exponential amount of pages I would need. Let's say I had like all nine. Uh, I had like nine different doors, right? Nine different dills, and now the nine different doors or nine different things could just lead to a single place, like for instance, if there's nine rooms, there could be nine rooms, and that you go and visit each of the rooms, and I could do that maybe, and maybe I might should to keep it varied. But if it's something that you have to do where you have to hit all of the options, you have to go through all of them, then I shouldn't do any more than three, because four, it starts getting exponential, basically. Because four, okay, so it's like 15 pages. Okay, so if you imagine, here, actually, I have it the way I have it set up here. Um, let's see here. There we go. That's I guess this is the configuration. So this is the basic configuration. Okay, so there's three main choices here, and I want you to hit all three choices. So this has two remaining choices. Okay, this has two remaining choices. This has two remaining choices. That's six. Okay, each of them has one remaining choice after that. So one, 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 one. That is another six. That's a total of 15 here. Not including the before and after deals. Right. So now imagine if I were to do four, and I'd need to do three left, right? So I start with four. I have three on each. That's 12. Okay. Two on each. Two remaining on the 12 is 24, and the remaining one is also 24. 24 and 24 is 48, plus 12. That's 60, right? Plus the original 4 is 64. That's 64 pages I have to do four options that you have to hit all of the options. Now, I shouldn't necessarily have to do a thing where you hit all of the options. In fact, if I'm doing a proper choose your own adventure, I might have endings, dead ends. It might cut off parts of it that you won't see because it's going to a different thing, and that's fine. But here, uh, I have the choices here where um, I don't necessarily want to do a cutoff. And I did do a cutoff at the beginning when you're choosing your apprentice, so to speak. And which that is kind of okay. It's okay to cut some stuff off. That just means that sometimes you might never be able to see everything that I wrote in here, which is if I put in a lot of work, it might be kind of a pain in the butt to do that. But anyways, so I have 15 to start with, but then when I add four, then it's four times, and so that's 64. Well, it's not. It's four and a quarter times basically, and then if I added five, it would be even like way more than that, 100 and something, and just go on and on like that. So where we at? This is where we at. Okay. So I have to come up now with Wizard U. I have to come up with uh some choices here. Maybe I don't need choices though. Maybe I don't always need to go and do the choices thing, right? Hmm. I don't want it just to be a narrative though. That's the point. The point is I don't want to be a straight up narrative. You're going to be reading it anyways. I want you to have a little bit of semblance of agency in it in this. So that's why I've been doing these choices the way I've been doing them. It probably will end up being unwieldy and it'll probably be maybe even annoying to read. I don't know. I don't know how bad it'll be because it's all kind of experimental. But I do have the fixed story and it's all in one here. So okay, so there's a thing that I haven't done yet, I think. So far, it's been pretty linear, too, right? Just thought of something. We do this thing. Okay. So, so basically, John gets sent to night school and Princess Prep, and Hubert goes to Wizard U and Fairy God College. And you need to go through all four schools to be able to see everything. So you need to go through everything. So setting up linearly is fine. What am I trying to say? The one thing that I didn't do that I should do. Oh yeah, okay. So here's the thing. Here's the problem. The problem here is, let's say that instead I changed it, and it's the reason why I continue to go kind of linear, where you switch in between characters and stuff. You're not actually switching multiple characters just yet. But because when you're able to switch multiple characters, you'll be able to do so at any time. So it's not like a decision tree that you go off and then you have to go back and then you have to redo this other part. You'll just be automatically able to switch in between uh, John and Hubert. You'll be able to go. You'll be able to go with whichever one you want. Um, um, anyways, so if I had put this thing, okay, so you as John and as Hubert, right, will need to go to these different schools. Now, if I would have made it if I would have made a choice where they split up, and you got to choose which one you wanted to go through first, then in order to be able to go through the other characters deal, I'd have to write it duplicates. The way this is working, so writing duplicates, that is a lot of extra pages, and honestly, um, just looking at this, it's I don't know. It almost sounds like not a great idea now. Now that I'm well into the game now, or well into the story, I should say, because this still reads linear. It's still linear. It's just you're. I just give you slightly a little bit of agency here, right? If you could somehow go and loop back, if you could somehow go and switch automatically from here, if you could switch characters, that would kind of help a lot. That would help break up the whole tree thing. Um, if you could kind of go back. Um, that's interesting. Multiple player characters early. Where is? I gotta pull this up. I gotta pull up my. I know I'm not making progress now, am I? Uh, oh, at least I have an idea of what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna let him get in the Mouse Wizard way, and I'll write it a little bit differently. I still have to come up with the choices part of it though, so I might not get that done today. We'll see. I need to go look up the my development roadmap, and I need to find out where you um do multiple player characters. That's in phase 4. Um, let's see. Navigation system was meant to make sure that any location that you went to is a separate action than the actual choices you get. So you might not have that many choices, in there. Like you might have to pick up or turn on a light switch or something to go on to the next thing. Um, but to go into that room before you turn on the light switch, um, that's a directional component. So, so the second one was going to be to split the to make the navigation system independent. That is player movement. Then do the room independence for usability. And all this means is that room data. This is why I gotta go through it, and fix all the locations and make sure that each scene change is a literal new location. Anyways, okay, so the multiple player characters wasn't until phase 4. Hmm. Anyways, the room independence was so that you could have multiple pages of the quote unquote same room because it's the same location. Like if I need to turn on, if I need the light to be on in a room and I need to turn it on, I turn on the light. I don't have any sort of state save machine or state machine or a save state machine, save state. I don't have any save states in here. So what I have to do is I have to go on linearly. In other words, the light will still be on, but you can't come back to it. I don't know how to say it. Um, anyways, it's not like there are different exits, right, that you go through, and you're able to go back into the same room again. So I was gonna fix it to after I got this part done. That I would set it up to where a room at the time would have multiple choice sets and multiple um, what do you call that? Additional description. There'll be an extra description. There'll be one main description. You're in the blah blah blah. Um, and maybe it's dark. Okay, so maybe it's dark. So maybe all it says is you're now inside what should be the the kitchen or something, and then all you can see is a light switch. Right. It's dark except for faint light from the door you just came through onto a light switch. So you turn on the light switch, and then it goes to a different page, and you'd have both pages in there with the light on and with the light off, and you'd have their choice sets for that particular scene. It should be completely seamless to the player because the player shouldn't be able to know what's going on behind the scenes. It should just look like it always does. Okay, well, this is gonna take forever. All right. So now I'm looking at this. I'm kind of going. I've kept this in really tight confines, tight spacing. You're not gonna have that much choices, and some of the times you're gonna have a deal where you don't have hardly any choices, and then the other time where you have more choices, but um, you're hitting the same stuff. And because of that, because there would be so many different deals based on those many choices, I have to limit it to two or three. Otherwise it just gets so too huge. I mean, I might end up doing one, maybe in the middle somewhere, maybe a climax, or maybe some important point where I do go ahead and do 4 and 5 choices. But that's just going to be this humongous, tree structure. So, okay, so let's see, let me think of one thing here. Um, okay, what I need to do here, I guess, I don't know, I guess I could bring up Grok or ChatGPT, maybe, maybe Grok. Really, ChatGPT should be the story one, and Grok should be the. Oh, they're under heavy load, huh? Okay, fine then. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's kind of start a new. Uh, how much, based on your memory, do you know about my game, Enchanted Lands? Quite a lot. It's basically my soap opera at this point. Here's again, this is what I know so far. You're building in phases. Phase one, choose your own adventure style. Phase two, text parser. Okay, yeah. Currently phase one. Okay. It assumed that because I mentioned a couple of the phases, I didn't mention all the phases and stuff. So, currently phase one. Go to fork. JSON scenes for files. Runs on Quicksilver. Magical mineral usually 70%, but Karen's Realm can refine it to 85 to 90%. That's right. I forgot that I put that in there, but that's right. Quicksilver, fuels magic mirrors, flying trains, and other whimsical tech. Characters and arcs. Princess Karen, magic of her own, kidnapped for the Quicksilver tech, later uncovers villains' plan to build a giant machine on or near the castle entrance terrace. Has a personal bond with the unicorns, also investigating why Princess Prep is suddenly empty. And actually, she's not investigating that. We're investigating that because she's part of the deal that happens. She gets kidnapped. Wizard whose magic that half strength sometimes literally knows Sir William's real identity. He doesn't know Sir William's real identity. How should I say it? He doesn't know yet what happened to Sir William. I mean, he might suspect some stuff, something ran afoul, but he has a form proud knight cursed in the unicorn form for arrogance. Redemption arc, Nemesis the Black Knight. Black Knight hunts unicorns, especially Sir William, possibly for magical or personal reasons. The Count. Vampire search for mate after the anti-vampire propaganda drives his kind into hiding. Vampire Princess. 4 in a row. Last seen a Princess Prep before the princess vanished. Runs Fairy God College. Actually training vacation fairy godmothers into evil witches. Notable events. So it does know quite a bit now. Remembering quite a bit. Heroes avoid Scarborough Fair Chicken to keep villains off their trail. Travel the Lapswood Forest. Forgetfulness. Memory fades over time here. In the forest, they meet Sir William, not in disguise, but cursed and amnesiac. Wizard U closed Vacation Wizard School. Possible location for Sir William to research cursed breaking. He actually does. He actually, as a unicorn, he actually manages to ram his way in there, and he manages to get into the library and knock down a few books and do some stuff. He learns some stuff. Occasional villain POV pages act as cutscenes. Locations are mapped with consistent cardinal direction for player orientation. So you see how they visually, because at this point I could practically write the gossip column for the Enchanted Lands Weekly. That's nice. Great. No thanks. Okay, so I'm busy adding um interesting, we'll call it interesting choices. Interesting choices to the story beat pages. This current one concerns Hubert getting into Wizard U that has been closed for a while, and then getting some information about what's happened to the resort. Um, since this isn't a full choose your own adventure story. The story is mostly linear. The choices are there to make the player feel like they have some agency, even though it's just a pre-created story. Let me think here. Entry game. So, the actual text is as follows. Okay, let's copy the text from this one. Yes. Copy. Here. Okay. So I already have some idea of how Hubert gets into the school. So I'm still trying to figure out interesting choices. This is, as these are just a list of events, so to speak. Please acknowledge before I go on. Okay. Okay. So I had written the start of a possible walkthrough where Hubert comes notices a mouse in wizard's garb near a hole in the outer wall. Insert you. The mouse says he's not really a wizard, but a tourist that was just starting to get good with his wand. So, but he misplaced his wand, and now Hubert needs to find it so that the mouse can help him get into Wizard U. Following so far? Not that it has to follow anything, but yeah. Okay. So, after having the mouse go over the events that led up to missing one, Hubert spots it behind one of the mouse's ears, as he had put it there because he needed both hands. So with that, the mouse agrees to shrink Hubert down to his size, and then re-enlarge him on the other side, which he does. Got it? Still following? It doesn't really have to follow like we would like have to remember and whatever because it's already there. Realized the mystery wand was hiding behind the here the whole time. Mouse keeps his end of the bargain by tricking Hubert, smelling him through the hole, relarging him once inside Wizard U. Hubert goes around this school and ends up looking at the trophy room where one of the glass cases are broken and a scepter is missing, presumably made of quicksilver. And then he goes into the main hall / Hall of Fame to see that one portrait is missing. Portrait is missing. That of the dastardly Maximilian. Maximilian is actually how does it spell it? One else. Maximilian spell. I know Maximilian spell sounds kind of corny because that's what he does. He casts spells and his name's Max and whatever. I guess I have a number of these things in there that are kind of cringy in a way, or at least seem cringy to me. It might not be when somebody that doesn't know my head and stuff, they might think it's completely fine, but that of the Destiny Maximilian spell. And he also notices all the other portraits look surprised as if they had been caught in a trap. The implication being that Max has trapped all of the wizard professors in their own Hall of Fame paintings. Trophy room, broken glass case, missing quicksilver, Hall of Fame, one portrait missing. The other wizard portraits looks shocked, hinting that they've been magically trapped in their own paintings by Max. Both the theft subplot and the professors in prison and art twist. Now you want interesting. Yeah, just some ideas. I probably won't copy your ideas directly, but I need somewhere to start. Let's see. Playfully tease him about his behind the ear storage skills. How you act to be shrunk, take it in stride. Been smaller in spirit before. Panic and demand full magical safety briefing. Try to sneak into Mouse's hat further right. Okay. Trophy room. We examine first the broken glass. The empty display stand. Reading its plaque. A side display that has a random magical trinket. Useless but funny. Optional mini choice. Try to guess what the scepter does before leaving. Pretend to guard the empty case for comedic effect. Hall of Fame. How do you investigate the missing portrait? Step into the empty frame to see if anything happens. Question one of the shocked portraits. Try to use the magic to unstartle a painting. Player expression choice. Feel disturbed by the frozen expressions. Treat it like living art exhibit and make notes. Give each painting a funny nickname based on their shocked pose. These kinds of micro choices don't change the plot, but they let the player inject personality into Hubert's reactions while slipping in extra world building humor. If you want, I can also give you a more puzzly flavor set of choices. Um, okay. Suggest a way. Okay. Give me the puzzle E flavor choice set. Will help a bit as well. So I'm kind of getting some ideas here. Uh, so for one thing, the portraits. Okay, so there's the thing where, um, I don't know if it would be too much of a spoiler, and I don't mean a spoiler to you. I mean when you're reading it, when you're playing it. Too much of a spoiler to where he tries to, let's say he tries to cast a spell, um, uh, on the paintings to release them from their paintings, and what he succeeds in doing is letting them all reanimate. Basically, they're able to talk and they're able to move within their frames a little bit, and even though they haven't actually been released, that's part of his halfway magic not working correctly. And so he can actually get some information from there. That's actually not a bad idea. I have to figure out what kind of information he can glean from the wizards. One thing he knows about Max, and so they're gonna all know about Max as well. He's gonna be able to put it together. So I don't know if I leave that as a hint. If he doesn't do anything to the paintings, um, then the hint implication is still there. I could just do a thing where it tells you a lot of stuff too. I'm not sure, really sure. Uh, Suggest he check his robe pockets, ask him to retrace his steps. This is actually ultimately what he's going to do is ask him to retrace his steps. But you know what? The one thing that I could do is I could add some choices. In fact, I could do that. This could be a tree that cuts off some choices. By cut off, I mean where you don't necessarily have to go through like all three. It's like the three challenges. You have to go through all three challenges, no matter what, right? Or the same thing with anyways, there's a couple of choice set areas where you go through. You have to go through all. You have to get all the information. So you have to go through all three choices, in some way. But there's a couple where they're actually cut off. Where you don't actually have to. You don't have to strictly go through the one or the other. The original dealie about searching the papers and stuff gives you some information about the type of guy you want for your assistant. But you don't have to do that. You can go directly to the crystal ball and bypass that entirely. So maybe this should be a one that has a bypass point in it. Maybe. So we can have three different ways that he finds his wand that ways. Okay. That's me. Point out the zero looks oddly lumpy. How do you want the shrinking spell cast from the wand tipped? The mouse's hat. The mouse's tail. Uh, just changes animation flavor text, right? Okay. Examine the glass shards for residue. Read the display pack to learn about the scepter's properties. Notice scratch marks or drag marks on the floor. No gameplay branch. Optional deduction mini choice. Guess who might have stolen it? No matter what, Hubert stores the info away for later. Hall of Fame. Inspect the empty portrait frame. Look for the magical scorch marks on the frame. Touch the edges to see if they're warm or buzzing. Check the label to read the name. Any choice gives the same clue Max is missing. Investigate shock portraits. Try speaking to one. If it blinks but can't move, use a minor detection spell to see for faint magic chains. Compare their position to a before photo hanging nearby, and it reveals the professors are magically trapped in their paintings. The key here is the solutions always progress the story, but the player feels like they chose the method, so it plays like a puzzle without the risk of dead ends. I also give you a quick 3-step choice scaffolding template, so you can reuse this approach for future beats. Yes. Yes. A choice following template would be good. Really, I wanted a process before so that I could decide these things without just sitting here and staring at the screen expecting something to happen. Okay, got it. You want a repeatable process so you're not stuck staring at the screen waiting for a choice fairy to visit. Here's a choice scaffolding template. Um, Identify the story beat core. Ask yourself what's the one clue, event, or reveal the player needs here. Okay, Max is missing. Max is the one. Uh, Hubert learns the scepter was stolen and the professors are trapped in its paintings. This is your fixed outcome. All choices will lead here. Split the micro action points. Break the scene into 2 to 4 small moments where a choice could happen. 1 moment for entry obstacle, 1 moment, one for investigation discovery, one for reaction interpretation, one for fun slash character color. Example moments for Wizard U. How Wizard helps the mouse find the wand. How Hubert examines the broken display case. How Hubert investigates a missing portrait. How Hubert reacts to the shocked portraits. Step 3. Offer 2 to 3 flavored paths per moment. For each micro action point, make 2 to 3 possible approaches that all reach the same result. Vary the tone, clever, serious, silly. Vary the method, visual inspection, physical interaction, magical sensing, asking someone. Vary the player role, active, solver, passive observer, comedic participant. Example, how does Hebert check the empty portrait frame? Touch the edges, feel a faint magic energy, inspect the label, or read the Max Minion spell. Peek from the side, notices the faint magical scorch marks, all reveal Max is missing. Quick formula. For each story beat, 1 core outcome, what must happen no matter what, 2 to 4 micro action points, where could the player do something, 2 to 3 flavor choices per point, different ways to reach the same outcome. This keeps you moving because you're never starting from a blank page, you're just filling in a grid. Micro action point, choice A, choice B, choice C, entry and obstacle, investigation, reaction. If you like, I can actually make you a Wizard U example grid so you can see the whole thing mapped out for your current beat. It'd be something you could just reuse for other locations. Huh, that's actually not a bad idea. I don't know. I mean, I could do it and but then not copy its deal and just use it as an example. Um, yes, an example grid would be great. I won't directly copy it, but it will work as a good reference. Micro action point, choice A, choice B, choice C, entry. Helping the mouse find his wand. Suggest that he check his robe, pockets, logical, retrace his steps around the wall, hole, methodical, point out his ear looks unusually lumpy, observant, comedic. How here it gets shrunk. Standard wand zap to the shrink him, safe and classic. Mouse waves a wand while wearing his hat like a crown, whimsical. Mouse spins his tail and shouts a spell name, experimental. Okay. Investigation trophy room. Spec glass shards for magical residue, forensic. Read the plaque about the scepter's properties, scholarly. Notice floor scratch marks near the case, deductive. Investigation, guessing the thief. Clearly, Maximilian spell. A random kleptomaniac maniac ghost, a cursed janitor with sticky fingers. Humor option. Okay. Investigation, Hall of Fame, empty frame. Uh, how much time do I have? About 25 minutes. Okay. Test the frame edges. Faint magic tingle. Tactile. read the label, maximizing spell direct info. Of course, that won't be that. It's still it's going to be a clue. Max is going to be smart enough to rip the thing off, but it's not going to be that hard for Hubert to deduct what's going on here. Okay. Reaction shocked portraits. Speak to no one. It blinks but can't move. Interactive. Use a minor detection spell to see faint magical chains. Arcane. Compared to a before group photo on the wall. Observation. The group photo might not be a bad idea, actually. Um, each row is a player moment where they make a choice, but you still control the story outcome. Tone variety lets you cater to serious, curious, and comedic player moods without extra branching work. Replay illusion. Players feel like they could see see new details if they replay and choose differently. If you want, I can also make you a blank reusable grid. You can copy paste for future beats, just so you have to fill it in each time instead of rethinking the format. That way, you're never staring at a blank page. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, cool. I like it. Uh, Fill in the first column with 2 to 4 moments in the scene where the player could interact. Okay, that's fine. After 5:11. That's interesting. Fill in 2 to 4 moments in the scene where the player could interact. Entry, clue, discovery, reaction, etc. Fill in columns A through C with different flavors of how the action should be done. Keep the core outcome fixed so all choices lead to the same key story beat. I can also make you a one-page printable choice creation sheet that includes this grid plus 3-step scaffolding instructions on top, so you always got the process right in front of you. Yes, please. Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah, not bad. Yes, please. I'll look at it each time when I'm ready for the next story beat. Yes. Analyzing. Will it do it even though I'm not on the 5 free thingy? Will it still do it? Because it doesn't require a lot of thinking, I don't think. Huh. This is cool. If it works. We'll see if it works. It's okay, even though this is what happens, right? Any progress is good progress, right? So any progress is good progress, and this is progress. I already had an idea, and then okay, let's see something here. Download file starting. Okay. Sure. We'll just save it in downloads, and I'll probably put it in the design docs in the anyways. That is so awesome. Check that out. Um. Huh. And I probably wouldn't even like print this out and actually handwrite them in or anything. I probably just use this and micro action point. Right. Split micro action points. Break the scene into 2 to 4 moments where the player can interact. Optical investigation, reaction interpretation, optional comment flavor, or mini puzzle. Vary the tone, vary the visual, the method. All choices should lead to the same story outcome. Key interactive moments in the scene. Fill A to C with 2 to 3 flavor options. Keep the story outcome fixed. Player is choosing how to interact, not what happens. Color code for flavor type to balance your choices. Ooh, I like this. This is kind of cool. All right. So that's really cool. That's interesting. That's really cool. So yeah, okay. So I see what it said earlier. What it said is it said it couldn't do it from external sites. In other words, it's not going to an external site to do it. It's actually literally uh, knowing the format of a PDF file and then actually generating the data for it. Maybe using Python or something because it looked like it had some sort of Python thing. So it's using Python to actually generate the PDF data. So you can do lots of cool stuff now. Quite a bit from designing game systems, brainstorming story shows, to generating files like PDF, creating code snippets, mockups, and more. Basics of digital or text-based I can usually whip up something you immediately use. Honestly, making that choice creation sheet was a little magical crafting spell in itself, just without the wand or the shrinking mice. If you want, we can make an interactive version of these sheets for planning choices or even mini templates for multiple scenes that auto-populate for your story beats. They could save you tons of time. Huh. Um, what do you mean by interactive version of these sheets? A version of your choice planning sheet that you can fill out digitally and manipulate rather than just print and write on, for example. Spreadsheet based, right? Form based or app version. Okay. Google Sheet template. Um, could you do it in what is this? Open Office Calc? Uh, where is it? Office, LibreOffice Calc, Open Office, LibreOffice. Columns for micro action. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. Not found. Claims for not found. So I'm not sure what the problem is here. I could generate a direct downloadable file. File not found. Okay. Still 404, file not found. I guess that's alright, whatever. Maybe we can try that later. I still have the PDF. No, thanks, not right now. Sure. Thanks. Okay. No, but you could take this built-in version and make a PDF out of that. So I can look at both your example and then the actual form empty box version. PDF format. See if it'll do it. Maybe it won't do it. Maybe it'll only do a certain amount of generations. Maybe it's because I'm on free, or maybe it's just because something's flubbed up. Because sometimes things just flub up and it doesn't quite work right. Oh, okay. Oh, yep, I reached my limit. I would upgrade, but I don't actually have the money to do so. That's what I'm hoping to do. That's what I'm hoping to do with this game development. Not so much on the game itself, but the live streaming, and update videos. Focus on personality and process. People love seeing how get. This is what I'm. Okay, so this is what I'm actually doing for you. Those of you that are either listening or are actually watching. Here, actually, let's see any. Uh, okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, let's see how of game creation, especially if you explain your decisions, show prototypes, troubleshoot in real time. Your humor and lighthearted style of the game can carry over the stream, making it entertaining the audience is small at first, clippable moments. You don't need full editing, short clips showing aha moments, funny bugs, or design insights. Record live streams to just snip the best parts without extensive post production. Behind the scenes content. People enjoy seeing unfinished art, code snippets, or story brainstorming. Your choice grids or the story planning we've been working on can visually be shown on a stream video, educational and relatable. Community engagement. Ask viewers for minor suggestions. Which flavor of choice would you pick? They feel involved. Even small polls, consistency over polished, short, frequent streams or updates are usually better than rare, unpolished uploads. People start to expect your schedule, which grows trust and engagement. Low budget content plan for your streams, plus devlog updates that could help you slowly monetize and build an audience while still finishing your game. You can, although it can. It would interesting to see what you came up with. Having dinner. Live development streams. Show the actual creation process, engagement, narrate your thought process, share your screen. Why? Yeah, I'm actually doing all that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Post stream highlights, funny bugs, accidents, weekly devlog videos. It's kind of what I do, honestly. Schedule example for solo. Post 2 30 clips from the week. 30-second, 60 clips. Weekly devlog, 5 to 10 minutes. Tools and setup, OBS, clip extraction, audio, graphics, engagement strategy. No, that's okay. I'm doing some of what you listed already. Yeah, I I don't really know. I mean, I can start making shorts, I guess. Um, so I'm streaming about 4 hours a day in two 2 hour streams, focusing on this story building in the first half and the um, programming in the second half. Few thoughts. Okay, share your process. Programming stream, second hours, coding focus, clip ideas, balance technical depth, linking both streams. Okay. Not just right now. So I usually edit. I usually record up to 2 minutes explaining and showing the process I took for a particular day, usually at the end of the day. Then I edit the clips into single 10 to 12, 8 to 12 minute update video. Recording, quickly name each 2 minute clip story grids, wizardry puzzle, so you can drop them in order without searching. Now that's okay. In fact, I'm about done for this part, and next part I'll be filling up the layout tool that I'm already working on. Yes, okay. Well, thanks. That's about it for today. I may start or continue another conversation after my break. Okay. So with that, so yeah, understandably, actually, you know what? I'm gonna try to do my little recording, off of this first part and then the next part. So, um, okay. So I'm gonna do my recording here in a sec. I'm gonna say thanks for watching, at least watching part one, and I will wait a second. Where is? Yeah, OBS. And I'll see you in part two, which will be in about an hour. So it's almost 1 o'clock my time. It'll be 2 o'clock when I start up again. So I'll see you about an hour. Thank you for watching part one.